Are we live? Hang on. Are we live? Hang on a second. Are we actually live? You guys are already here. This is nice. Hang on a second. This is actually kind of nice. You guys are already here. I didn't even have to do the stream. Oh, this is nice. Oh, how very nice. Are we live? Hang on a second. Are we live? Are we live? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. A little bit of confusion on my end, I do believe. I don't know. We'll see about how the rest of the show goes. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today, of course. The stream is running a tad bit late, but, you know, stuff happens. Life happens. So we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, hoping for another awesome epic stream, of course, as always. And we'll just get it on the road here. We got, of course, a Mando episode to talk about. Order 66 flashbacks. Awesome epic stuff. We got some other stuff to talk about here. Let me get all my stuff open. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay. We are live. We did it. Running a little bit late, you know, just a tad bit late, but we got a lot to talk about. So Mando episode, of course, Bad Batch episode, of course. We got some Jedi Fallen Order stuff to talk about. We got some Ahsoka show, the Star Wars movie. It's a lot of the same topics as the other day, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very, 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 very fun stream as always. So let's get the show on the road here. Oh, so you guys are already ahead. I didn't even have to ask you guys to rank the episode. Didn't even have to ask you guys to rank the episode. Okay, so first we're going to talk about The Bad Batch, of course. We always start the show with The Bad Batch because I think, let's be honest, The Mandalorian is a little bit more popular. So rank the episode of The Bad Batch out of 10 in the chat. Let's see what you guys thought about that Bad Batch episode. This is episode 14. This is The Tipping Point. While you guys do that, I will read what you guys were talking about here. What were you guys talking about? Anything interesting? Jeffrey Snow gave his thing. We'll get to that. Oh, you guys were just arguing. Okay. Star Wars Politics still hasn't watched it. 0 out of 10. No desire. Wow. Okay, so The Tipping Point. I'm going to spoil the hell out of it for you, Star Wars Politics, just letting you know. So, geez, I haven't watched it either, Jeffrey. Is anybody watching The Bad Batch? All right, I'm going to break it down anyway. So it was a lot better episode. We talked about the last week's episode and how it was just not good. It was a filler episode, to say the least. But this one was good. It was back on track, and it got us very, very excited for the finale, which is next week. There's 2 episodes left, but they're both coming out next week, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I think the finale is going to be awesome. It's setting up a perfect finale, but here's what happened. So you have Crosshair on Mount Tantus, and that's kind of where we start the show off, but there's a transport on the way to Mount Tantus, and it's these prisoners that are cloned prisoners that are on their way there. But Echo, who we know went off with Rex earlier on in the season, Echo comes back with this other group of clones that he's with now. Rex is not there, but Echo's there, and he saves the clones that are going to Mount Tantus. This ends up with him going to Pabu with the Bad Batch to talk to them, but the majority of the episode is focused around Crosshair, and it's focused around Crosshair and how he kind of like is turned to the light side again. He's seen what the Empire does. We've seen this before, but Dr. Hemlock, who is quickly becoming my favorite doctor in Star Wars, he's better than Dr. Pershing. He's an evil doctor. He does some awesome stuff in this episode with the poison gas and all that stuff. It just really was a great episode to set up the finale. That's it. That's what it is. It's the tipping point because it's, again, Crosshair giving up the information to get the Bad Batch. And he's not going to, and maybe he will, but it's because of torture. But it's more of just the Bad Batch setting up the last finale, and hopefully the finale is good. I really, really hope so. There's 2 episode finale, so I'm really hoping that it is good. And well, maybe predictions. Any predictions for the Bad Batch finale? We know the episode names are The Summit, which of course is referring to Mount Tantus and probably the Bad Batch going there. In Plan 99, which I know politics had, 99 could possibly be a order to get rid of all of the. Oh wait, am I lagging here? Hang on. No, we're good. To get all the clones killed or whatever. It's the same thing. Politics, if you want to elaborate on that. But yeah, not really much to talk about with the Bad Batch this week. We're jumping around a little bit here. Let me see, how's our connection looking? Am I good on you guys' end? Are we good? Are we good to go? I think we're good. Okay. So, here's my thing. The Bad Batch has been all over the place all season. Like, all over the place all season. It's been good. It's been great. It's been all right. But when it comes down the line, next week is the last episode. When it comes down to it, we're going to have to give this show like a ranking. We're going to have to say, was this show good? And I mean, when you even ask the community here, Jeffrey hasn't even watched the show at all. Even we're 2 days out from it, or a day and a half out from it, and Politics hasn't even watched it yet. There's a lot of people that are just waiting to either binge The Bad Batch, or they're not going to watch it entirely just because it's not their cup of tea. Or it's like, it's not, you don't need to watch it. It's kind of the thing. It's like, it seems so unnecessary that people don't need to watch it. And that's what we don't want to do for Star Wars. You don't want it to turn into Marvel, where the Disney Plus shows you can go without. You don't have to watch Hawkeye or Miss Marvel to make sense of the other projects. That's not how Star Wars should be. Everything should be connected. Everything should be important. At least that's how I think about it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Jeffrey Snow says, no disrespect, bro, but could we skip The Bad Batch? I mean, 2 of us here out of the 4 haven't even seen it, lol. You know what, Jeffrey? I'm going to talk extra about The Bad Batch today just because you said that, okay? So now we're going to spend the next 2 hours focusing on The Bad Batch and predicting what's going to happen next week. Now, yeah, we're going to move on from The Bad Batch. Star Wars Politics says he would argue you have to watch The Bad Batch. Very interesting. Why? Because of the cloning stuff, because of Mount Tantus. Here's the thing. If they actually make Mount Tantus a thing in live action with Grand Admiral Thrawn coming in here, because it's of course from Legends, and I mean, cloning is obviously already a plot point of The Mandalorian and stuff like that, but it's like, but they should note that the episodes, they should note the episodes that are more important. They've done that before with the Clone Wars episodes. That's true. They've done that where the Clone Wars is like, these are the more important episodes if you want to understand it. Yeah. No, I get what you're talking about. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see come the finale how many people actually enjoyed this show. How many people actually were like tuning in each week, what the numbers actually were. Because it's The Bad Batch. That's it. That's as simple as that. It's The Bad Batch. The first season was all right. The second season is just all right. It's nothing special. Honestly, and I talk about it all the time, Star Wars Rebels is like still, I think, the most underrated Star Wars content of all time. It's nowhere close to Star Wars Rebels. It's not even close to the Clone Wars and even like some of the slower seasons of the Clone Wars. The Bad Batch is just not it. It's not it, which is kind of sad. Kind of sad because it's Dave Filoni's not really in charge anymore. You know, it's just, yeah, you know. Do you know? Do you guys even know? Jeffrey Snow says, to be honest, cloning has really gotten that more complicated over the Star Wars years. So I guess it's probably worth a watch. I will have to watch all of season 1 for one reason. Clone Wars is a top 3 Star Wars animated show. Okay, so you just said Clone Wars is a top 3 animated show. There's only like 3 animated Star Wars shows. No, I'm kidding. So what do you got for animated shows? You got The Bad Batch, you got the Clone Wars, you got Star Wars Rebels, you got Resistance, you got Tales of the Jedi. Like, of course, it's a top 3 animated show. Oh, or you see, you spelled 3 wrong, so I don't know if you're saying is the. Oh, the, yes, Jeffrey. I knew you were saying the. I knew you were saying the. Star Wars Politics says, do you feel like cloning is getting overused in Star Wars? Interesting. Cloning is a very main topic of Star Wars, and it kind of always has. Not the original trilogy, I'll give you that much. Not the original trilogy, but the prequels have cloning. The sequels have cloning. The Mandalorian has cloning. Even the Clone Wars has cloning. Even Rebels has some cloning in there. Even, like, cloning is kind of a main overarching storyline, if that's even a possibility, of Star Wars. I mean, cloning is a very prevalent thing in both the Bad Batch timeline and in the Mandalorian timeline. So, is it being overused? I don't think so. But could there be an argument for that? Yeah. True. It's possible. Cloning main character seems a bit over the top now. Yeah. So cloning, it shouldn't be. To your point, there's 2 projects coming out for Star Wars right now. The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian. Both of them are covering cloning. So I see where you're at with that, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Jeffrey says, yes, cloning is overused at this moment. With the Republic Army, Dark Sidious, and now Grogu and the Bad Batch. There is a lot of cloning, okay? I get it. There's cloning. It's everywhere, okay? What do you want me to do about it? You want me to go stop the cloning? I don't know. What's up, honey badger? How we doing? So, there's a lot of cloning in Star Wars. Sure there is. But it's like, cloning is very relevant to all sorts of things. You have the clones in the prequels. You have Palpatine being cloned in the sequels. Snoke is a freaking clone, and he's the main villain. And then you're gonna get like some Thrawn stuff, and maybe even a freaking who knows? Grogu, like, yeah. We need to stop cloning and start making proper warriors. Sure, Jeffrey. Sure. All right, I'm with Jeffrey on this one. I've had enough of the Bad Batch. So let's kick it over to the Mandalorian. What did we rank this episode for the Mandalorian out of 10? Let's hear it. What do we think about this episode of the Mandalorian? The Mandalorian. What do we think? Like, if a clone of Luke showed up, would you be happy, or would you be like, that's a little out there? If a cloned Luke showed up. So it would be very similar to Legends, because that's exactly what happens. There's a clone version of Luke, literally named Luke. Stupidest thing ever created. I mean, couldn't think of another name, really? No, just 2 U's. Okay. If a cloned Luke. Huh. Fascinating. Clone Luke. Would I be upset? I'm going to have to sleep on that one, Star Wars Politics. I'll get back to you. I don't know if I would be upset about it or not. I don't know. Okay, here comes the rankings. Jeffrey gave it a 10 out of 10. Wow. Jeffrey, why? Honey Badger gave it a 8.9 out of 10. Would have been a 9, but it was too short. Yeah, the 30 minutes was kind of a throw off. And Star Wars Politics gave it an 8 out of 10. The length of screen time overall. Not a bad point. Oh, yeah, he's talking about, yeah. Okay. So if I ranked this video at I ranked this episode at an 8.5 out of 10. And here's why I did that. You want to know? Do you guys want to know? Star Wars Politics says season 2 was finale was a 10 out of 10. Yes. Oh yeah, Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of that. 10 out of 10 for sure. So 8.5 out of 10. What? Okay. 8.5 out of 10 is because of the reason. And it's one reason only. Order 66 flashbacks. I mean, the episode was good. Like, action-wise, you had the chase with the giant pterodactyl-looking thing. And you had, like, that whole story arc of Din having to save Paz Vizsla's son so that when Din Djarin inevitably becomes the ruler of Mandalore or whatever, he needs Paz Vizsla and the House of Vizsla and all these other Mandalorians on his side. So the story was necessary. The thing is that was episode 4 of 8. We're already halfway through this season, ladies and gentlemen. And it's like, where are we going? What's the plot of this season? And I hate to say it like that, because originally it was Din has to go back to Mandalore to bathe in the waters. That happened in episode 2. Episode 2, they didn't mess around. They went straight to the point, went to the waters, bathed in the waters, and that was it. And the storyline was over. Since then, we've kind of just been staggered. Episode 3 was purging. Episode 4 is this pterodactyl steals Paz Vizsla's son. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there should be a bigger overarching story going on here? Like, is this working towards something, or are we just waiting? Are we just sitting here waiting for Moff Gideon to break out of prison? Are we sitting here waiting for Grand Admiral Thrawn to show up? Are we sitting here waiting for something epic to happen? Are we the kid from Incredibles who's sitting there waiting for something awesome to happen? Because right now, the Mandalorian just seems to be at a loss. Since episode 2, when he bathed in the waters, because that was supposed to be the plot of the entire show, according to if you watch the trailers for this show, it was, I gots to go to the waters, what it is to be a Mandalorian. And that's what happened in the second episode. And since then, we've just been sitting still. Okay, Darth Lopez says, episode 4 was crap, with a smiling poop emoji. He says, watched it muted and I liked it better. What is that? Did you understand the episode? Like, you watched it muted? Okay. What's up, sorry. Jeffrey Snow says, I see the group bonding together more and then the Empire is going to strike again. That's the thing, though, Jeffrey, is like, the Empire is not here. Other than that fleet of TIE interceptors at the end, or at the beginning of episode 3, there hasn't been a threat except for a giant pterodactyl, a giant alligator turtle thing. Like, it's weird. And then those weird creatures on Mandalore. There hasn't been an actual threat that isn't just an animal in this season so far. It was a little crazy. Tilly's here too. Yo, Tilly's watching my stream? That's crazy. Okay. Bo-Katan is a threat, but she isn't. She's literally like helping out Grogu. She's helping around the other Mandalorians. It's not. She's not a threat. She's not. And the more and more I've like watched episode 4, I watched it a few times. Like, because at the end of episode 3, we were like, oh, Bo-Katan's definitely working both sides. She's not actually friends with this person. And then we were like, Bo-Katan's actually going to be the main villain. She's keeping the Mythosaur secret from Din and all that other stuff. But she's just not the villain of this season. And I hate to break it to you guys, but it's just not going to happen that way. Darth Lopez says the writing was horrible. Elementary school writing of this episode. I don't know. Darth Lopez in here with some hot takes. I don't know. Do we agree with Darth Lopez? Come on, man. Are we talking about bad writing? Go watch the Book of Boba Fett and you will see bad writing, I promise you. Okay, but we can't be comparing The Mandalorian to the Book of Boba Fett. First of all, it's the same writer, and his name is Jon Favreau. And honestly, I didn't think the writing of this last episode was bad. Did anybody else get that? I get the whole pterodactyl thing was stupid, but it was a necessary thing. Good cups follow orders. The good cup will come out later when this one runs out. Todd Lopez says, I actually liked the Bad Batch episode better. I did think the Bad Batch episode this week, I don't know if it was better, but it was around the same like level of the Mandalorian this week. So, all right, let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. Look at the thumbnail. It's Jar Jar Binks. What did we think of Ahmed Best coming back to play a new character? Not really new. We get it. He was in the game show. But what was his name? Kelleran something? Kelleran Beck? Kelleran. What do we think of Kelleran being the one who saved Grogu? Is this a problem? Many people were like, should have been Mace Windu, should have been Palpatine, should have been Anakin, should have been somebody relevant. Is Kelleran like just a no-go for anybody else? Darth Lopez says that was awesome. All right, Lopez, then what's your problem with the episode? Because that was like the entire idea of the episode was showing us what happened to Grogu in Order 66. Kelleran Beck. It was definitely unexpected. If John and Dave are good at one thing, it's giving us what we just don't expect at all. Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett, nobody saw coming. Luke Skywalker at the end of Mando Season 2, you can all lie to yourselves, but nobody saw that coming. And even now, Keller and Beck, nobody saw that coming. Literally nobody. Everybody predicted anybody on the freaking planet. Barriss Offee, freaking Palpatine, Anakin, Mace Windu, Boba Fett, R2-D2, somebody was saying in the chat a few weeks ago. Like, everybody picked everybody. But there was not a single person on this planet that thought that Keller and Beck was going to be the one who saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple. And let's be real. It wasn't just him saving Grogu. He had 2 lightsabers, he took out a bunch of clones, had an awesome chase scene through Coruscant, and then he hops on a Naboo royal starship and blasts off the planet to God knows where. We don't know where he's going. Literally, this actually added more questions to what happened to Grogu. We know who saved him, but we don't know where they went. We don't know where Grogu's been up until The Mandalorian Season 1. It's really added more questions. And I mean, more to speculate about, and I guess that was the purpose of all this, but what do you guys think? He fully deserves a revive of his character after Hope fans treated him in real life for playing Jar Jar. Oh, you're talking about Ahmed Best. He definitely deserves a revived character. Yes, so Ahmed Best, and it's a little dark, but Ahmed Best was on the verge of jumping off a bridge. He talks about this many times, and Jar Jar did like, it destroyed his life. The guy was actually like, it was bad, and it was because of Jar Jar, and everybody, all the critics, all the fandom, absolutely hated on him for years after The Phantom Menace came out, and that's kind of just what happened, and he kind of just had to deal with it. And he fought through it, and he got through it, and now they're praising him. And Lucasfilm, actually, got to give credit where credit is due. Lucasfilm gave him the opportunity to come back and play that character in a Star Wars game show that was for kids, but I never watched it. But it was for kids. It was a few years ago, and then they brought that character into live action and literally solidified him as a main important piece to the Star Wars canon, because he's the one who saves Grogu from the Jedi Temple. Like, that's no simple mere task. That's a huge thing that people have been talking about for over 2 years. It's kind of crazy. Darth Lopez says Jar Jar is still better than Omega. Honestly, Omega's annoying, but she's not like that annoying. Jar Jar's not really annoying either. When you rewatch the prequels now, Jar Jar's he's the comedic relief. He's not annoying. He's not like, I hate that guy. He's the comedic relief. He's supposed to be a joke. Like, that's the idea of his character. So why he got crapped on so much is beyond me. I mean, it's CGI, but it's CGI before CGI was even a thing. George Lucas was still expanding the freaking whole industry at that point, like he does with all of his movies. He made a whole CGI character in Jar Jar as a main character of the first movie. Darth Lopez says he's a war hero. Exactly. He's a war hero. He fought at the Battle of Naboo versus the droid attack. Exactly. But what do we think about the character of Killian Beck in general? Do we think we're going to see another flashback in this season, maybe in the next episode, about where they ended up? Do we think we're ever going to find out what actually happened to Grogu after they come out of hyperspace? Because I don't think that, like, obviously Killian's not in the original trilogy, and obviously he's not in The Mandalorian right now. And when we find Grogu, he's with pirates. And obviously there's bounty out on his head. So something happens with Grogu and Killian that's a story that I want to see. It's a story that I want to see the rest of. And Omega is just starting her career out. Yeah, I think Omega's going to have a lot more storytelling to go. I mean, if you look at her from episode 1 of The Bad Batch up until now, she's already got so much character arc in general. Star Wars Politics says he could show up in Bad Batch. Killian, or Killerin? What's his name? Kelleran. It's Kelleran. I've been saying it wrong like all day. It's Kelleran. Kelleran could show up in Bad Batch. True, he could. It's unlikely though. I seriously doubt it. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see what happens to them. To who? The Bad Batch? Star Wars Politics follows up and says, all this is happening in the same year. Yes, true. It's all the same year, right around the time of Order 66. A lot happened in that time, like a lot. I still think that it's possible that we see what happens when they come out of hyperspace. And I do think that it's possible that Palpatine still gets his hands on Grogu before Din does. Like, in the time of the original trilogy, Grogu could be in the hands of the Empire, which would really be insane, which would. He who is named Patrick says, just remember all the people who hated Jar Jar. He still took out more droids than you ever will. Exactly. He who is named Patrick. Exactly. You wish you could be Jar Jar Binks. Darth Lopez says, yes, we have to, that's too much time gone. And why? Yes. Yes. Okay. Should we talk about what we think is going to happen next week on The Mandalorian? Here's the thing. The show has to kick it into high gear at some point. There has to be some point in this season that we get a threat, that Moff Gideon comes back. I know Moff Gideon's coming back. I don't know it for sure, but I can speculate. We know, we've heard rumors, all that stuff. We know Moff Gideon's coming. At some point, Moff Gideon's coming. At some point. And he's rumored to have a Mandalorian helmet. He's rumored to fight against Din again and have a whole fleet. Star Wars Politics says, I expect too much. What do you think is going to happen the rest of the season? Just nothing? It's just going to be a no story, no nothing? Like, the rest of the season is just going to be okay? Let the dark side flow through me? Give me like another half hour, maybe I'll think about it. What's your point of view on Mando training Grogu off screen? Do you think that it's possible? Remember when Bo asked Din if he taught Grogu that move? So Din obviously has been teaching Grogu stuff. Not probably like fighting tactics or anything because Grogu's too small, but he of course knows Luke trained with Grogu. And according to Jon Favreau, it's anywhere between 1 to 2 years of Luke training with Grogu. So Grogu does have some skill. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like we're building up to see Grogu do something epic with the Force. I mean, we got glimpses of it in season 1, we got glimpses of it in season 2, and then he went and trained with Luke Skywalker. And now he's been using the Force for like fun little, like spinning in chairs. Like he's just messing around with the Force right now. So I think at some point he's going to have to actually use the Force for real, and it's going to be awesome. I think he's going to do something epic. Darth Lopez says, I was answering your question about what happened with Grogu in during episode 4 to 6. Oh yeah, it's too much time. Yeah, yes. So something has to happen with him. He's not going to stay with Kelleran for that whole time. It's just not possible. It's not possible. But what's going to happen next in this Mandalorian? Who do we think is going to be the villain of this season? There has to be a threat. And I think the TIE interceptors at the beginning of episode 3 were the threat, or were the hint or glimpse at the threat. Jeffrey Snow says, I think so as well. Grogu. I can't understand that. Sorry, Jeffrey. Star Wars Politics says, it's not out of reason for it to be nothing. Look at the Book of Boba Fett. What was the plot? Same creator. Huh. So you're saying that the Mandalorian is just going to be nothing. But the thing is, the Book of Boba Fett, even when you look back at it, it's the Pikes. It's Cad Bane, who is, of course, a big character. And it's not a good villain, but it's a villain nonetheless. The Pikes were the overarching threat of the season. They weren't a good villain. Cad Bane coming in was a pretty good villain, but it was a villain. You don't have any sort of bad guy, bad girl, whatever you want to call it, in this season. There's none of that. None of that. Darth Lopez says he thinks it's Gideon. So do we think Gideon's already broken out of prison? It literally in episode 3, all we got was that one guy who was in the amnesty program on Coruscant say, the rumor was that he broke out of prison. And that was all we got. It was literally all we got. So Moff Gideon has yet to show up, but I feel like if he doesn't show up, it's a missed opportunity. And if he doesn't show up, who's going to be the threat? It's not like Snoke's going to come walking out of nowhere. If Snoke comes out of nowhere with the lightsaber or something and just beats everybody up, that would be pretty epic, not going to lie. What about the Praetorian Guards? Tell me in the chat, do you guys remember this? There was a huge link about the Praetorian Guards, link? Did I just say link? A huge leak about the Praetorian Guards a few months ago. This was like probably, I don't know, November maybe? I don't know. There was Praetorian Guards with more Mandalorian looking helmets. There were supposed to be Praetorian Guards on Mandalore. And the Praetorian Guards are, of course, Snoke's guards in The Last Jedi. And they're all red and whatever. But are we going to see them, and are they going to be on Mandalore? We went to Mandalore for about 5 minutes. He bathed in the living waters. And we fought some threats, but they were only just wildlife on Mandalore. There was no Imperial presence as of what we saw. So are we going to actually go back to Mandalore? And is the Empire actually going to be there? Because, if you guys remember, and Darth Lopez, yes, he says yes, he remembers that, the Praetorian Guards will be in this season. It's not a question of when, will they be? It's a question of when they will be in this season. So they also had the Mandalorian look to them, which makes me believe that they will be on Mandalore. Now, there's no plan to go back to Mandalore as of right now, except for maybe Bo-Katan, who knows that the Mythosaur is there. But Din Djarin and all the other Mandalorians have no reason to go to Mandalore. The only one who really does right now is Bo-Katan. It'll be very interesting. Jeffrey says, I think Thrawn will be the main big bad. I feel like they're saving Thrawn for the Ahsoka show. I feel like that's what's happening. I feel like they're saving Thrawn for the Ahsoka show. So I think maybe, Jeffrey, you could be right that Thrawn comes in like at the very end, like in the final hour, in the final few minutes, in the final scene, maybe a like cliffhanger ending of Thrawn showing up, getting people excited for the Ahsoka show. That's a possibility. But I don't think Thrawn is going to be the main bad guy of this season. It's too late in the game to even bring him in to make him the actual big threat, because you have to explain to the normal fans and to the people who don't know who Thrawn is, the people who haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, you have to explain to them who Thrawn is. Because if he's supposed to be this overarching big bad guy, then yeah, people have to know who he is. It's simple as that. Star Wars Politics says, I'm not saying it's going to be nothing per se. I'm just saying it's not going to be something, if that makes sense. That made absolutely zero sense, Star Wars Politics, and I absolutely hated it. So I'm going to keep going. Jurassic Bob, hang on, sorry, that's in all caps. Jurassic Bob says Mando is connecting to the sequels with the whole Palpatine cloning thing. That's true. So I posted a video on this earlier this week about, or was it this week, last week, whatever, about the sequels connecting to the Mandalorian connecting to the sequels, and whether or not people actually want that, or whether or not it should connect to the sequels. I think it's just bound to happen. I think it's supposed to happen because it's the same freaking universe, and that's what happens in a universe that's all connected. It connects to each other. Crazy, I know. Crazy. But Palpatine's coming. Palpatine is the end goal, the end game. He is cloned. He is on Exegol. He is creating Snoke, or already created Snoke. So yes, I think Mando is definitely connecting to the sequels with the whole Palpatine thing. Jurassic Bob. Darth Lopez says, no way it's Thrawn. Yeah, I can't see it being Thrawn this season. I could see Thrawn coming in the Ahsoka show and being the main bad guy of that. But even then, I think they'll still just have him in the background as like a Thanos and pulling the strings. And I even think in the Ahsoka show it'll be a different main bad guy, but that's for another time. Those will arrive when Gideon shows up. I don't know. Oh, the Praetorian Guards. Darth Lopez says the Praetorian Guards will show up when Gideon shows up. That's highly likely. I feel like we haven't seen the full force of Gideon's army yet, and I think we definitely will come the end of this season. Star Wars Politics says, why does Bo trust the armorer? That's a great question. Why do we think that Bo trusts the armorer? At the end of this episode, she tells the armorer that she saw the Mythsar. She didn't tell Din. She actually purposely did not tell Din. But she tells the armorer. Interesting. Is it maybe because Din has the Darksaber and she still wants the Darksaber? I don't know. Jurassic Bob! I'm going to scream your name every time, by the way, because it's in all caps. Says, Din coming in to steal Ahsoka's show. No, I definitely don't think so. The Ahsoka show is we're going to talk about the Ahsoka show in a minute. There's some crazy new stuff about the Ahsoka show. The Ahsoka show is going to be absolutely insane. I think it's going to be the best, like even better than like Revenge of the Sith and The Mandalorian Season 2, which personally I think are the best two things that Star Wars has ever created. It's going to be the best Star Wars content ever. And I will literally like eat my hat if it's not, because just based off of the leaks, the rumors, and even just Dave Filoni writing the whole entire show, just based off of purely that, I think it'll be the best show of all time. You got The New Beyond, which is a new space in Star Wars with new Force users, where the Night Sisters originated from, where Thrawn and Ezra have been the entire time. Then you have this World Between Worlds, which is going to be unbelievable. You're going to see Ahsoka go back to try and fight Anakin on Mustafar instead of Obi-Wan. And then you're going to see her trying to kill Thrawn instead of letting him escape with Ezra. Like, this is going to go absolutely insane. And the Ahsoka show is going to have no room for filler episodes, no room for none of that stuff, because it's going to be straight fire the entire time. And Jurassic Bob, I do not think Din will be coming to steal any sort of thing in that Ahsoka show. Darth Lopez says, oh no, he's just talking to him. Honey Badger says he had to crunch down to the basement and watch on my TV. What did I miss? Well, let's recap for Honey Badger. You missed that The Bad Batch is the greatest show of all time, and Jeffrey loves it. Star Wars Politics watched this last episode and thought it was the greatest episode of all time. The Mandalorian was good this week. Was good. Everybody loves Kelly and Beck and thought it was the greatest choice ever to make him be the one who saves Grogu. And Darth Lopez absolutely loved this episode as well. Yes. Darth Lopez says, didn't Filoni write the last episode of The Mandalorian? Yes, he was a co-writer on this last episode. So I know you hated the writing, but I thought it was very good. It was because of the Order 66. That's why. Whenever there's something important going on, like Ahsoka episode, Luke Skywalker episode in the Book of Boba Fett, and of course, Order 66 flashbacks, that is when Dave Filoni is involved. He's only involved, co-writing at least, in 2 episodes of this season, and it was episode 4 and I think episode 7. I could be wrong, but it's episode 7. Jeffrey says, Mando was solid this week. It was Carl Weathers himself. No, Honey Badger, Carl Weathers directed the episode. Carl Weathers directed the episode. John and Dave co-wrote the episode together. Yes. Darth Lopez says, I still have faith for the Ahsoka show. I don't have faith for the Ahsoka show. I think it'll be the greatest thing to ever exist. Yeah. So, like, people say don't get your expectations too high and then you won't be disappointed. I'm, like, putting my expectations at like, the moon. And then when they exceed even that, I'm going to be like, yes. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, exactly. All right, where should we go next? We got a lot of things to talk about tonight, by the way, just like on Tuesday. Tuesday's stream was insane. We went 2 hours on Tuesday, and it was, like, absolutely insane. But, you know, whatever. Honey Badger says, I have faith, and I know that it will be the best Star Wars since the original trilogy and the prequels. I think it could even be better, Honey Badger. And I know, it sounds crazy, but I think it's possible. The Acolyte will be the greatest, especially when we see Darth Plagueis. Darth Lopez, don't get your hopes up. I seriously doubt we'll see Darth Plagueis in the Acolyte show. I don't see it. I don't see it being possible. I don't. I know the Acolyte show is going to be involving the Sith. It's going to be revolving around the Sith, but Plagueis, don't count. Don't put any money on that. Please don't do that. Don't do that at all. Yes, Tuesday's stream was the way. Exactly. All right, so what do we go to next? Do we go to the Jedi Fallen Order news? That's kind of actually wild. Do we go to the Star Wars movie news, which is, again, insanity, after we crapped all over Star Wars for this movie just being a hoblob mess, but now they're kind of getting their act together? Do we go to the Ahsoka show, or do we go to Star Wars Celebration? What do we think? What do we think? Honey Badger says Ezra is rumored to have a Jedi-like karate skill instead of a lightsaber in Ahsoka. Yes, that is some of the Ahsoka news that we have to talk about, but yes. Did you see, have you seen the rumors and leaks about the Acolyte? Yes, I have. The Acolyte show is going to be very, very good, I think, but it's not going to be what most people think it is. It's not going to be Darth Plagueis. It's not going to be like a young Palpatine thing. No, not at all. Not at all. Not even close. It's going to be all brand new cast, all brand new High Republic Jedi. It's going to be a Sith-centered show, but it's going to be very, very different than most people think. I think we should start with the movie thing. Just because we crapped so hard on Disney on Tuesday about the Damon Lindelof scandal, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. So let's talk about it. So, on Monday night at about 2 a.m., Damon Lindelof, it was reported, was left the project. The Damon Lindelof Star Wars film that was next, the guy Damon Lindelof himself left the project. So where are we at with this movie? What the heck is going on with this movie? So Damon Lindelof has left the movie, but in the same report that said Damon Lindelof has left the movie, there was some rumor about them already having a new writer. Now, you want to know who the new writer is? Where is this? Oh, here we go. Wait, what? Where did this article go? Hang on a second. Where did this article go? There we go. There it is. What the heck? I can't find it anymore. Huh. Okay, whatever. I remember it by heart. I remembered the entire thing. Okay. So, the new writer for the new movie is a guy by the name of Stephen Knight. Anybody know Stephen? Anybody know our boy Stephen? Stephen Knight is the writer of a show called Peaky Blinders. Anybody watch Peaky Blinders in the chat? Anybody? 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 Peaky Blinders? Honey Badger says, the new writer is hype, let's go, movie saved. It could be movie saved. Here's the idea. It could be movie saved. If anybody's seen Peaky Blinders, you know it's one of the greatest shows of all time. Like, one of the greatest shows ever. Just, it's very violent, it's whatever, it's dark, it's gloomy. It's kind of like the greatest show, or one of the greatest shows of all time. When you look up greatest shows ever, it's usually on that list. It's up in the mix, okay? Tommy Shelby, it's horse betting, it's England, old England, gangsters, kind of. Just to, yeah, kind of, sure, whatever. It's an unbelievable show. And I think it just ended. Was it the last season? I haven't seen the newest season. I've watched the first 4, but I haven't seen the new season. But it's an unbelievable show. And this guy is now going to write the next Star Wars movie. So although Damon Lindelof was a big name, a big name, the writer of The Watchmen, the writer of Lost, he had some great projects up there. None of them were as good as Peaky Blinders. Like, when we talk about great shows, none of what Damon Lindelof created was anywhere close to the level of Peaky Blinders, which gets me excited. However, Peaky Blinders is a TV show. In the same way that Damon Lindelof was only a TV show guy, and Miss Marvel director is only a TV show and short film girl, this guy is only a TV show guy, which is a little bit concerning. I mean, obviously having success with TV is a completely different beast of having success with a movie, But Stephen Knight is unbelievable. The only problem is, there's still one big problem. The director of the movie is the Miss Marvel director. One would think that if you wanted to have a great movie, like an absolutely great movie, for your next Star Wars film, you would get a banger of a director, a big name. I mean, look at Marvel, okay? You had Doctor Strange 2, directed by Sam Raimi. Then you have more like the Russo brothers and people that are in-house, but when they need something to hit hard, they bring in a big name. And it's not like you have to go get like Steven Spielberg or something along those lines. You don't have to go get somebody enormous, but how about somebody that has some qualifications in some way, shape, or form? Like literally just any qualifications. The Miss Marvel director, and I don't want to crap on the Miss Marvel director so hard every week here, but what are we thinking? Do you guys think that this is a good idea? Do you think that the Miss Marvel director is the way to go? What do we think? Honey Badger says, I agree. I think he's a good director. Okay. He says, no, this is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way. Miss Marvel sucked. Miss Marvel did suck. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful on this stream. Miss Marvel was terrible. Like, sure, it was made for teenage girls that were Pakistani, and I am not that. But it was not a good show, like at all. So bringing in that girl to direct your next Star Wars film is just not the name that you want on the project. However, here's the thing. This is the news that we're talking about here. Not only are we getting one movie announced at Star Wars Celebration that we are going to get the title of at Star Wars Celebration, but we are getting, now this is a rumor, however, from very reliable sources, the rumor is 3 movies. Whoops. 3 movies. 3 Star Wars movies that are rumored to get announced very soon, meaning Star Wars Celebration. New Star Wars movies rumored to be announced next month. So let's not get this wrong. Star Wars Celebration, and we'll talk about it in a minute, is April 7th to April 10th. So it's literally in like 2 weeks, 2 weekends from now. A new rumor dropped by Hollywood insider Jeffrey Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast claimed that Lucasfilm will take the stage at Star Wars Celebration in London in early April to announce 3 brand new Star Wars films. As I am told that 3 movies will be announced at Star Wars Celebration. 3. We're not talking about one Miss Marvel directed Steve Knight, whatever the hell the guy's name is, Steve Knight written movie. We're talking about 3 movies. He doesn't say trilogy. He does not say trilogy. However, if anybody has a brain over there at Lucasfilm, it should definitely be a trilogy. Snyder also mentions how the movie currently in development under the director Charmin, of course, of Miss Marvel, could be a decider for Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy. So do we actually think Kathleen's gone? Like actually gone? Because it seems like it. All this terrible news, it seems like Kathleen's actually out the door very soon. Like almost as soon as like next month. But on quite a serious note, the insider was told that if a Star Wars movie isn't released by December 25th of 2025, Kathleen would no longer continue running Lucasfilm. Now, there's no way she makes it to 2025. I'll put it that way. There's no way she makes it to 2025. But if she did, something crazy would have had to happen. This next movie is a big movie, not just for Star Wars, but for Kathleen Kennedy herself. So I'm told that Kathleen Kennedy's whole job depends on having this movie in theaters by Christmas Day of 2025. If there's no movie on Christmas Day of 2025, there's no job. This is what Jeff Snyder has said. There's no job for Kathleen Kennedy if there's no movie in 2025. And here's the thing with that. There's going to be a movie, but do we want her to rush out another movie? Did we not learn our lesson with any of the sequel trilogy? Like, okay. Will new Star Wars movie live up to the hype? Even looking at how Star Wars found so much success on Disney Plus and with hit show of Mandalorian and Andor, there's no way they just had so much success with Andor. Do they know how many people watched Andor? Because it's a little bit more than the amount of people you see on screen right now. One. the theaters are where the franchise was born and where it thrives for nearly 5 decades. Yes, and guess what? No Star Wars movies for 6 years. Now, the big mystery is what 3 movies Lucasfilm has in store for fans at Star Wars Celebration. Get ready to take the spotlight in April. As Star Wars Celebrations get ready to take the spotlight in April. It's 3 movies, ladies and gentlemen. 3. I don't know. Miss Marvel director Charmin and The Mandalorian's Taika Waititi have already set to take their own Star Wars movies, although there's no signs pointing to either of those movies will be a part of this announcement. With reports of at least 2 other movies hitting the chopping block, including one from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, Anticipation is rising to see exactly how Lucasfilm will return to theaters after the Skywalker saga. Star Wars Celebration is already built up to be quite the event for the fandom, and with this news teasing some thrilling new creatives joining the story from other avenues, these new movies should be a hot topic as the event inches closer, and of course will be from April 7th to April 10th. So here's the thing. Here is the thing. With 3 Star Wars movies being announced at Star Wars Celebration, there has to be a concrete plan. And what did we just talk about on Tuesday? Damon Lindelof leaving the movie. And now, of course, today we're talking about a better writer coming in and taking the role. But how are you supposed to plan out 3 movies that don't happen for like the next 2, 4, and 6, I'm guessing, years, when Kathleen Kennedy can't keep a writer before the movie even starts? How is this going to be possible? How is Lucasfilm supposed to keep a writer on for 4 years? Here's the thing. I think Star Wars Celebration is going to be like the thing, like the one thing that the Star Wars fandom desperately needs. Because I think the announcements there are going to be unbelievably cool. The thing is whether or not these announcements are actually going to happen. If they announce 3 Star Wars movies and they all get canceled, or at least one comes out and it sucks, that is terrible. That is bad. That is the worst possible outcome. Honestly, I'd rather them not announce any movies and not give us any crappy movies. Work on a good movie. But if they announce 3 crappy movies, then nobody is going to trust the brand anymore. And here's the thing. Sure, Jeff Snyder says if the movie in 2025 is bad, then Kathleen Kennedy's gone. We need Kathleen Kennedy gone like yesterday. She needs to be gone like yesterday. There has to be somebody who has to take the blame for the debacle that has been Star Wars over these last 4 years. And I'm not talking about the content that we got. I'm not talking about The Mandalorian. I'm not talking about even the Tales of the Jedi or the good projects that we got over these years. What I'm talking about is what's happening behind the scenes. No creatives want to work with Lucasfilm, the best IP on the planet, by the way. Nobody wants to work with them because they don't want to work with Kathleen freaking Kennedy. So she's got to go. It's simple as that. It's not rocket science. How many times have I sat up here live on YouTube and said it's not rocket science? because it's really, really not. It's not. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Honey Badger says 3 movies and some TV shows. Hype. She already got fired behind the scenes, I've heard. They just not announcing it until after Celebration. I mean, that would be wild. That would be wild. That would be absolutely wild. If Kathleen Kennedy's already fired and they're just waiting a few weeks till after Celebration, that would... round of applause. Round of applause. I'd give a standing ovation on stream. I would. I literally would. And not only that, we'd have an emergency stream. Literally, as soon as the news came out. And we would just sit here for like 6 hours in silence. And it would be great. It would be absolutely great. It would be one of the greatest moments of my entire life. It would. It would. It really would. Hopefully it announces as a trilogy and they're hidden by just saying 3 separate movies. That would be cool. Like they don't want to say a trilogy is coming, but they're going to announce it in a trilogy at Star Wars Celebration. That would be very cool. I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. Maybe it's 3 movies with 3 different directors, but the same trilogy or a secret trilogy. Here's the thing. We don't want 3 different directors. If they're going to make a trilogy, please have it be by the same writers, the same directors. We saw what happened with the sequels. J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson had 2 completely different stories in mind. And that just did not work. Did not work at all. Did not work at all. Jeffrey Snow says, I have to go, Mike. I'll be at the next live stream, but good night to all and on the stream. And remember, smash that like button and comment and share. Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody. Yeah, everybody listen to Jeffrey. Smash that like button. Gosh darn it. And that subscribe, of course. But yeah, so Kathleen Kennedy, I think, is just gone. Simple as that. And I really hope so. All right, you want to hear something stupid? You want to hear something really, really dumb? And I mean, it's Lucasfilm, so we're used to it by now. Star Wars Celebration. Ever heard of it? Star Wars Celebration takes place in London from April 7th to April 10th. Okay? Okay? Did we hear that? Okay. April 7th to April 10th? Yes. Are you with me so far? Are you with me so far? April 7th to April 10th. Got that? Are we there? Okay. Okay. Yep. Got it. Write that down. Okay. Do you guys know what April 9th is? Do you guys know what April 9th is? Anybody? Anybody know what April 9th is? I've run out of water. It's okay though. Because good cups follow orders. Nobody knows what April 9th is? Nobody? April 9th is a little holiday known all around the world as Easter. Easter. Are we stupid? Are we dumb? There's 52 weekends of a year? And Star Wars decides to put their celebration on the same one of a worldwide holiday. Of a worldwide holiday. I know not everybody celebrates Easter, and I know that's the case. Probably many people across the world don't celebrate Easter, but that's not the thing. That's not the thing. There is 52 weekends in a year. And Star Wars planned their celebration on the weekend of Easter. What? Are we dumb? Are we this dumb? What? Oh my God. So I thought Celebration was at the end of April. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Star Wars Celebration was at the end of April around the same time that Jedi Survivor was released. Jedi Survivor gets released on April 28th. I thought it was the same time. I thought that's when it was going to release. It was going to release around Honey Badger just said, maybe it's because Anakin is returning. It's the rising of the chosen one. Yeah, no. So I thought Star Wars Celebration was at the end of the month. Come to find out, it's April 7th to April 10th. And I was like, wait, isn't Easter early on in April? Looked it up. It's April 9th. Oh, God, I really hope it's because Anakin's returning. That would be great. They were like, imagine on Sunday, they're just like, oh, yeah, and by the way, it's Easter today, and we're celebrating by giving us the return of Anakin Skywalker from the dead. Please. That's the only thing that would make it all worth it, because Lucasfilm is so dumb. I can't get over it. Literally, it's week in and week out. It's like, even with the good news of Stephen Knight coming in to help to write the new Star Wars movie, it's like, well, Damon Lindelof left. He literally knew that there was something bad going on there at Lucasfilm with that movie that he didn't want to be a part of. He didn't want his name attached to, so he had to leave. So even with the good news, you have bad news. And it's like, even with Star Wars Celebration giving us all these awesome announcements, impossible awesome announcements, it's like, really? On Easter? Really? Yeah. Honey Badger says that's why we're getting the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka. Yes, just to explain why Star Wars Celebration is on Easter. Yeah, exactly. All right, we got some High Republic news to talk about. I mean, sorry, not High Republic, Jedi Survivor news, but it is also High Republic news. So Jedi Survivor, we got the trailer for the gameplay. We watched it on Tuesday. But it confirms major Jedi twists. Let's pull this up. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Here we go. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. It's Jedi Survivor. Confirms major Jedi twist. I don't know why they have this first part of the. I always scroll past it. It's useless. New twist for Fallen Order sequel. New Jedi revealed. So a new story. The new story trailer for Jedi Survivor, which we watched, has landed, and it reveals one of the game's biggest twists. The mysterious Jedi that was first seen suspended in a bacta tank, this guy right here, which has left the fan base wondering who the heck that guy is. The most recent trailer includes some moments with him in action. One of them ended up proving some fans' theories correct. Many fans theorized, due to the color of his robes, that the mysterious figure was actually from the High Republic era, hundreds of years before the new game takes place. So yes, the High Republic takes place about 250 years before the Phantom Menace. And it goes up like until the Phantom Menace, kind of. But this is what people are talking about. This right here, that little symbol on his waist there is a High Republic symbol. So proof of this connection to the era of the High Republic logo on the front of the character's robes. So obviously this is the High Republic logo, and it's right there on his robes. It's not clear from the new story trailer what his goals are, but he sure doesn't seem to be happy with who's running the galaxy, because in this he says, he says something along the lines of like, I can't believe you let the Empire rise up, or something like that. He blames it on Cal or something. How the High Republic meets the Empire in Jedi Survivor game. So the High Republic publishing initiative, yes, nope. Tells stories that take place hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga, or before the Phantom Menace. So how exactly did somebody from that era arrive in the age of the Empire? It seems clear that it all has something to do with the bacta tank he's suspended in. But was he locked up there, left there unintentionally, or was it all voluntary? Furthermore, it is unclear if he's definitely the main villain of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, or if he's an old Jedi, or if the old Jedi might start to see reason. So whether or not he's on our side or the villain of the game is still unclear. Here's the thing with this game, and we don't have to read the rest of that because it's all useless information, and I honestly don't care. here's the thing with this game. We know about the back-to-tank guy. We don't know who he is. We now can confirm that he's from the High Republic, which is kind of crazy because the High Republic is hundreds of years before. But here's the thing with Jedi Fallen Order for me. Do you guys remember the first trailer for Jedi Survivor? Sorry, Jedi Survivor. I'm going to pull it up right now. The first trailer for Jedi Survivor. Well, that's okay. It had, let me pull it up here. Jedi Survivor. It had this Grand Inquisitor looking character, right? With a red lightsaber. Where's the first trailer? No official story trailer, blah, blah, blah. Where is this trailer? Nope, that's the other thing. What the heck? Yeah, here we go. Videos. Jedi Survivor official trailer. No, no, no. Why is it so hard to find this gosh darn trailer? Ah, here we go. 9 months ago. Yep, here we go. Okay. Ready for this one? So. Oh, there we go. All right. We'll go full screen. So this is the original trailer for the Jedi Fallen Order game. I mean, Jedi Survivor game. I keep calling it Fallen Order. Where is it? There we go. So you see this Grand Inquisitor looking dude. You see the guy in the back to tank, but then you see the Grand Inquisitor dude with the red lightsaber. Right there. Boom. We don't know who this guy is. And since this trailer, which was 9 months ago, you never see this character again in any of the trailers, any of the TV spots, any of the gameplay, any of the nothing. You don't see this guy another single time, which is fairly interesting to me. I mean, it's a Grand Inquisitor looking dude with a red lightsaber during the time of the Empire. You think we would know who it is. Now, some people have theorized that it is the Grand Inquisitor himself, but that seems highly unlikely because he looks so different. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor has obviously a different looking Kenobi. Let's call it how it is. He looks dumb in Kenobi, but this is clearly a different look. Clearly. And then it shows the guy in the back to tank. And we still don't know who that is. But it's just weird because this guy with the red lightsaber shows up in the first trailer 9 months ago. And you really don't see his face in that fight scene, but you never see this what's the Grand Inquisitor's? Utapowan. He's an Utapowan. You never see the Utapowan again in any of the other trailers. And it's very interesting because they did show the guy in the back to tank in this first trailer to get you to wonder who this guy is. And they've kind of alluded to this character more, showing that he's most likely from the High Republic and all that stuff. We're getting more information about that guy. But nobody stops and asks about this guy with the red lightsaber or the Utapowan if it's the same character. Like, did we just forget about this guy? Like, he's coming in the game. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know. Hang on. 1 second. There we go. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it could be the Grand Inquisitor? The Grand Inquisitor? Did he just quit? Is it the Grand Inquisitor? What do we think? What do we think? Yeah, I definitely forgot about both. Yeah, exactly. Like, you forgot about that guy because you haven't seen him in 9 months, right? Like, it's weird. It's kind of bad marketing for the game, not gonna lie. True, but it still doesn't come out for another month. No, I agree with you. It's bad marketing for the game, but it's because it doesn't come out for another month. It's still got a month to go. It's still going to be a while. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a shaky. Hopefully the marketing gets a lot better the closer and closer we get to it, but we'll see. Should we talk some Ahsoka? So we got to talk about the Ahsoka show. And the Ahsoka show is always my favorite to talk about. Literally always my favorite to talk about. And as I think it was... Who brought it up earlier? Honey Badger himself brought it up. He said Ezra is rumored to have Jedi-like karate skills in the Ahsoka show. So the Ahsoka show has some crazy stuff going on. And I mean, even more crazy than the New Beyond and the freaking, in the World Between Worlds. Yeah, kind of. So, the Ahsoka show. First of all, let's talk about that story first. So the Ahsoka show, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Sabine using Ezra Bridger's lightsaber. Y'all ready for this? Sabine is rumored to be using Ezra's lightsaber. I love this cup, man. According to a new rumor from Making Star Wars, Sabine is set to appear in the Ahsoka show, portrayed by Natasha Lee Bordizzo, will be wielding Ezra Bridger's lightsaber in combat. So not only is she just hanging on to that lightsaber for him, she's wielding it in combat versus people, which is kind of crazy. And we, of course, see her wielding it before and wielding the darksaber as well. Star Wars Rebels fans may recall Ezra giving his green lightsaber to Sabine in the show's series finale. When audiences catch up with the colorful Mandalorian again in Ahsoka, it seems she may still be using it. With Ezra himself appearing in the season, it's possible that Ren might return it to him, but this remains to be seen. Making Star Wars report also claims that there are scenes during the Ahsoka show in which Sabine uses the saber alongside of Ezra Bridger, who is rumored to have adopted a unique new fighting style. Sabine previously trained with the darksaber and has used Ezra's blade on more than one occasion in Star Wars Rebels, like right here. Sabine Wren, master of weapons. Although Sabine isn't force sensitive, she's proven to be plenty capable with a lightsaber. Having trained with the blade under the supervision of Kanan Jarrus, of course, many people's favorite Jedi. On top of that, she's an expert in both creating and using weapons. She was the Ghost Crew's resident demolition expert and also designed the arc pulse generator, a devastating device that the Empire utilized to harm Mandalorians. With all that in mind, it should come as no surprise at all that in the time since Ezra's disappearance, she's been using his old lightsaber in combat. Ren isn't the only Mandalorian rumored to crop up in the Ahsoka show either. Recent intel points to Fen Rao showing up, which we talked about a little bit on Tuesday, being played by his original voice actor, Kevin McKidd. Rao is the guy who is the only protector left alive in Rebels. He's just another Mandalorian, and he's pretty cool. But yeah, so Ahsoka wielding Ezra's lightsaber. How freaking cool is that? And not to mention the fact Ezra doesn't have a lightsaber in the New Beyond, so he's wielding the Force in new different ways, like a freaking ninja with the Force. Like he doesn't need a lightsaber, he doesn't need a weapon to fight against people, so he uses the Force instead. What do we think about that? I mean, we've seen Sabine use Ezra's lightsaber a few times. We've seen her use the darksaber a few times. So I think it would just be awesome. I think it would be so cool. Honey Badger says, and Sabine, yes, Ahsoka and Sabine will have Ezra's lightsaber. Let's go. I think it'll be great. I think it will be so cool, and I absolutely cannot wait. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait for this Ahsoka show. I debate every day about going to sleep and just sleeping until the Ahsoka show gets announced. Here's the thing. The Ahsoka show is most likely going to get announced at Star Wars Celebration, but it is also likely we're going to get the first official trailer for the Ahsoka show at Star Wars Celebration on April 7th. Look at your calendar. It's March 23rd. April 7th is right around the corner. Like, we're getting a ton of Star Wars announcements very, 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 very soon. So, of course, don't miss out on any of it by hitting that subscribe button. I mean, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And of course, if you want to talk with some other Star Wars news, Star Wars nerdy people, there is a link in the description below to a Discord called The People. who love Star Wars. So go check out that Discord as well. We have a lot of fun on there. Honey Badger says, I pray we get a trailer. The hype is real. Let's go. Yeah, I definitely think we will get the trailer at Star Wars Celebration. I really hope so, at least. I hope so. But there's another big piece of Ahsoka show news. So the Ahsoka Disney Plus show, rumored, reveals mid-season twist. So here's the news. The Ahsoka show might have a time jump in the middle of the season. So this is coming from Making Star Wars as well. It's possible that the first 4 episodes will center around the adventures before the ending of Star Wars Rebels. So everybody talks about, when does that epilogue in Star Wars Rebels actually happen? When Ahsoka goes to Sabine and says, "I've found them," and they go off to find Ezra and Thrawn. When does that happen? So now the rumor is that the Ahsoka show is going to take place in 2 separate time periods, and it's going to be a mid-season time jump. So the first half of the season is going to take place before that epilogue, and the second half of the season is going to take place after that epilogue. So what I think is going to happen is the first half of the season is going to be revolving around the world between worlds, and it's going to have Ahsoka learning that destiny cannot be changed. All these things where she goes to fight Anakin on Mustafar and tries to kill Thrawn before he leaves with Ezra. She's going to find out that destiny cannot be changed. Things have to happen the way that they do. And that's kind of when she becomes white cloaked Ahsoka. When she becomes the real, true gray Jedi that she is when she realizes that this is how the galaxy works. This is how destiny works. This is how it all works. And then the second half of the episode is going to be, we're going to the new beyond. We're going to this new place in space where Ezra and Thrawn have been for years. Ezra learned some new things with the Force. The Night Sisters originated from here. Thrawn has a new undead army of stormtroopers held together by like the golds and cracks like Kylo Ren's helmet in Rise of Skywalker. This show's going to be insane. The more and more I talk about it, the better and better it sounds. Sabine, Hera Syndulla, Ahsoka Tano, Order 66 flashbacks with Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar, Thrawn, Undead Army, Ezra Bridger live action. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. That, like, just saying those things out loud just gets me so excited for this show, and I abso-fruitly cannot wait. I can't wait for this show. I literally can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this show. Oh my God, I can't wait for this show. I can't wait for this show. This is crazy. But we have to wait for Star Wars Celebration to get some more announcements about the show, and hopefully a trailer. Hopefully a trailer. All right. I mean, I think we covered everything today. I know it's shorter stream today, but I'm like redonkulously tired right now. That's probably why I didn't make a lot of sense this stream. I didn't jump around as much as I did on Tuesday. But we got a huge video coming out tomorrow. I worked on that all day. But I got it ready to go for tomorrow. It'll probably come out at 3 o'clock, I think. 3 o'clock tomorrow. It's about Kelleran. No stream is a short stream. This is the way. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Kelleran Beck. Kelleran Beck is the video tomorrow. It's going to be an awesome video. And then on Saturday we got another video. I know I was working hard today. We got a video on Saturday talking about Jedi Fallen Order in the New Beyond, and that one's going to be awesome, like abso-fruitly awesome. And I believe Dennis, before the stream even started, chimed in about his theory about the connection between the New Beyond and the Jedi Survivor game, and I think it's going to be so cool. So we got 2 videos coming out this week, and on Friday and Saturday, and maybe why not? Let's get a video on Sunday. Let's do it. Let's get a video on Sunday. Why not? Let's jam-pack your weekend with Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. Let's do it. We'll jam-pack your whole weekend. You won't be able to do anything except for watch my stupid face on your stupid screen. It'll be a blast. It'll be so fun. It'll be so fun. And you guys just can't wait to watch all these videos that I'm going to post for you. It's a Mike weekend. Let's go. Exactly. That's the attitude we're looking for. Yeah, no, that video that I did today is awesome. And it comes out tomorrow. And I'm still currently working on the Jedi Survivor one. And it's going to be awesome. And it's going to come out on Saturday. And then we'll see where we're at with that. And maybe we'll get some other news coming out. Maybe I'll do a video covering the new Star Wars movie news. What about that? 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 Possibly. But I'm getting on out of here. You guys are the absolute best for coming and hanging out with me. Sorry I was a little bit late today. I was out to eat and I had to rush home and I was a little bit late. But you guys seem to handle yourselves quite well. Don't forget to smash that like button on this video if you haven't yet. Hit that subscribe button so you get that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. All right, I'm gonna get on out of here. You guys are the best, and may the force be with you always. Not a bad stream. Not the best stream ever, but it wasn't a bad stream. Wasn't a bad stream. By any means, wasn't a bad stream. A little bit of a short stream, you know. Some days you just gotta have a short stream, you know. Some days you just gotta have a short stream, you know. If you know, you know. You know. I'm so tired. Watch out for those videos tomorrow. Watch out for the video on Saturday. Watch out for the video on Sunday. Watch out for the video on Monday. Watch out for the stream on Tuesday. And let's get excited for the next episode of The Mandalorian. And of course, the final 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. Good night, everybody.